My wife criticized our son in front of him, and I lost it. I'll never forget the look on his face. It all started earlier that morning. We were getting ready for a trip to my parents' place. Just a casual lunch, nothing special. My wife suggested we take our baseball mitts. You know, maybe practice a little, have some father-son bonding time. I thought it was a great idea. I was all for it. But then she kept talking. She mentioned how she had watched him at practice the other day, and she said, he only caught maybe 2 out of 30 balls. Her words hit like a punch. He wasn't good. That's what she said. My son was sitting right there, his back to her, but facing me. He didn't need to turn around for me to see it. I could feel the hurt. In that moment, something snapped inside me. I raised my voice. I got it, I said. We're going to practice throwing today. I thought that was it, but she stormed off. I felt this wave of frustration and protectiveness. I just wanted to shield him from those words. I knew she didn't see his face, but I did, and it broke my heart. Then my phone buzzed. Text after text from her. I couldn't believe it. I replied. Told her she didn't need to bring it up like that. Not in front of him. I mean, she had already told me before. Why rehash it so bluntly? I told her, that's the coach's job, not ours. We're supposed to build him up, help him, support him. Like if our daughter was off step in her recital. Would she say she did terrible on stage? Thinking about it now, maybe I overreacted. But seeing his expression, it was like watching a balloon deflate. His confidence just vanished. And all I could think was how words can cut deeper than anything else. I know my wife didn't mean to hurt him. She's a good mom, really. But sometimes, words just slip out. And they leave marks. I guess I'm still trying to figure out how to balance being a parent and a partner. We want to prepare our kids for the world, but also protect them from it. It's a tough line to walk. In the end, we did go to my parents' house, and we did practice. Every catch, every throw, I could see him gaining a bit of confidence back. It was small, but it was there. I know we need to talk about it more. Figure out how to communicate better. For his sake. For all of us. And as I look back on it, I wonder, did I handle it right? Or was there a better way? As the day went on, I couldn't shake that lingering doubt in my mind. I kept thinking about how I reacted and whether I'd done more harm than good. My son seemed to be doing okay, but I knew how words, even when they seem to roll off, can linger in a kid's mind longer than we'd like to admit. On the drive to my parents' house, he was quiet, staring out the window. I wanted to say something, to reassure him, to let him know how proud I was of him, regardless of any missed catches. But I didn't know where to start. It's not like there's a manual for this kind of thing, right? Eventually, I just said, "Hey buddy, you know I'm proud of you, don't you?" He turned to me, gave a little nod, and I saw the corner of his mouth twitch into a slight smile. It was enough to make me feel like maybe, just maybe, I was doing something right. When we got to my parents' place, they were already outside, waiting for us. My dad shouted a cheerful hello, and my mom was all smiles, eager to fuss over us like she always does. It was comforting, a sense of normalcy after the tense morning. We got the mitts out, and I could see my dad's eyes light up. He loves this stuff, always has. It felt good to have him there, tossing the ball around, giving little tips here and there. He's got that grandfatherly way of making everything seem more fun and less like a lesson, you know. I watched my son, and with each catch, I saw his confidence start to build. He was laughing, joking around with my dad, and it was like the morning's incident was a distant memory. But I knew it wasn't the end of it. My wife and I still needed to have a conversation about what happened and how to move forward. That night after getting home, once the kids were tucked into bed, I knew it was time to talk. I found her in the kitchen, making herself some tea. There was this tension in the air, but also a kind of unspoken willingness to work through it. "I'm sorry for how I reacted earlier," I started, trying to keep my voice calm and open. I saw his face, and it hurt to see him hurt. She looked at me over the rim of her mug, and I could see the regret in her eyes. "I didn't mean to upset him," she said softly. "I just thought I was just trying to be honest." "I know," I replied, "but maybe we can find a way to be honest without being harsh. He needs to feel supported, especially by us." We talked for a while, back and forth, trying to find that balance between honesty and encouragement. It wasn't an easy conversation, but it felt necessary. We both agreed to be more mindful, to think about how our words could impact the kids. As we talked, I realized that these moments, these difficult, uncomfortable conversations, are part of what it means to be a parent and a partner. We're not always going to get it right, but we have to try, and keep trying, for our kids' sake. In the end, we both knew we were on the same team, and that we wanted the best for our son. It's a learning process, and we're in it together. We ended that conversation on a hopeful note, both of us committed to doing better. But as I lay in bed that night, staring up at the ceiling, I couldn't help but replay everything in my head. It's funny how the quiet of the night can make every thought louder, more insistent. I kept thinking about my son, his quiet nod, and that small smile. It was like a lifeline, reminding me that he's resilient, but also that he's still just a kid. He's looking to us for guidance, for validation. And it hit me that this is one of those defining moments, where he learns not just about baseball, but about self-worth and resilience. The next morning, I woke up determined to talk to him more. I want him to know that he can always come to me, that I'm here to listen and to help him through whatever life throws his way. So over breakfast, I brought it up gently. "Hey, about yesterday," I started, watching him poke at his cereal. "I know Mom and I had a bit of a disagreement, but I want you to know that you're doing great. And if there's ever anything you want to talk about, I'm here." He looked up, and for a moment I couldn't read his expression. Then, he gave me a little grin. "Thanks, Dad. I know you and Mom just want to help." I nodded, feeling a huge weight lift off my shoulders. "We do. And we're learning too, you know. Just like you." After breakfast, as he ran upstairs to get ready for school, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. Maybe we're not perfect parents, but we're trying our best, and that has to count for something, right? Later, while I was driving to work, I found myself thinking about my own parents, and all the times they must have had similar struggles. It's a cycle, isn't it? Each generation trying to do better than the last, trying to figure it out as they go along. I realized that this whole experience had taught me something important. Not just about parenting, but about partnership too. It's about communication, about being willing to admit when you're wrong and being open to change. It's about learning and growing together. So as I pulled into the parking lot, I made a mental note to check in with my wife later. Maybe we'd never have all the answers, but as long as we kept talking, kept supporting each other, we'd be okay. And as I sat there, engine off, I couldn't help but wonder, how do we find the right words to build them up without tearing them down? I sat there for a few moments longer, just staring out at the gray office building in front of me, the question lingering in my mind like a stubborn echo. It's a tough one, isn't it? How do we find that perfect balance? I mean, it's not something they teach you in school. There's no handbook that magically appears when you become a parent, explaining how to navigate these emotional minefields. As I got out of the car and headed inside, I thought about my son again, about that small smile he gave me. It was such a simple thing, but it meant the world to me. It was like a little pat on the back, reassuring me that, despite everything, maybe I wasn't completely screwing up this whole parenting thing. That smile was a reminder that he's just a kid, still figuring things out. And maybe he needs us to be more like guides than critics. Throughout the day, the conversation with my wife kept replaying in my head. She didn't mean any harm. I know that. We're both just trying to do our best, sometimes fumbling through the dark. But it's so easy to forget that our words can land harder than we intend, especially on little ears. At lunch, I texted her a quick message. Something simple, just letting her know I was thinking about her, about us. I wanted her to know that we're in this together, that we're learning as we go. Her reply came almost instantly, a little heart emoji that made me smile. It's funny how a small gesture can mean so much. On my way home, I decided I'd swing by the park, maybe pick up a new baseball for my son. Something to show him that I care, that I'm invested in his interests. It struck me how these small actions are what build the bigger picture of our relationship. They're like little bricks, each one adding up to something strong and lasting. When I got home, the house was buzzing with the usual evening chaos. Dinner being made, the kids arguing over something silly, the dog barking at who knows what. But there was a comfort in that noise, a reminder that, despite our missteps, we've built a family that's full of love and life. After dinner, I took a moment to talk with my wife again. We sat on the couch, the kids busy with their own things, and just checked in with each other. The conversation flowed easier this time, a little more relaxed. We talked about our day, about the kids, and how we can continue to support them as they grow. It felt good, like we were finding our rhythm again. As bedtime rolled around, I tucked my son in, sitting on the edge of his bed for a moment longer than usual. I wanted to leave him with something positive. "You're going to be great, you know that?" I said softly. He smiled up at me, a sleepy nod affirming that he heard me. Walking out of his room, I felt a sense of peace. It's not always going to be perfect, but it's those moments of connection that matter the most. They're what make the hard conversations worthwhile. Finally, as I lay in bed that night, my wife resting beside me, I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the day slip away. Parenting, partnership, it's all a journey, with bumps and detours along the way. But it's a journey worth taking, especially when you've got someone by your side, figuring it out with you. And just before sleep claimed me, one last thought crossed my mind. How do we make sure our love drowns out the criticism? I lay there, staring at the ceiling, that question echoing in my mind. How do we make sure our love is louder than our criticisms? It's like trying to find harmony in a song where we're still learning the notes. I knew that I wanted to be the kind of parent who lifts up my kids, who helps them see their own potential without overshadowing it with my expectations. The next morning, I woke up with a newfound determination. I wanted to do more than just talk about change. I wanted to live it. I decided to start small, with little moments that show my kids they're loved and supported. It was a simple idea, but sometimes those are the ones that stick. As we sat down for breakfast, I made sure to tell my son something positive about him, something genuine. "You know, I really admire how you keep trying, even when things get tough," I said, watching his eyes light up just a little. It's amazing how a few words can change someone's day, maybe even their outlook on themselves. Throughout the day, I kept reflecting on how words have such power, how they can either build or break, depending on how we use them. It made me think about my own childhood, about the things that stuck with me, both good and bad. It's a cycle, isn't it? We carry these things forward unless we consciously decide to change them. Later, when my wife and I had a quiet moment, I brought it up again, this time with more clarity. "I think we need to find a way to balance encouragement with honesty," I said. "We both want the best for them, but maybe we need to be more mindful of how we say things." She nodded, and I could see the understanding in her eyes, the same desire to do better. "You're right," she replied. I didn't realize how it might have sounded to him. "I'll try to be more careful." It felt like a breakthrough, a step in the right direction. We were on the same page, both committed to this ongoing process of learning and growing. It's not just about being good parents. It's about being good partners, too. That evening, as I watched my son practicing in the yard, mitt in hand, I felt a sense of hope. We were moving forward, bit by bit, and that was something to be proud of. I joined him, throwing the ball back and forth, each catch and miss, just part of the process. It wasn't about being perfect, it was about being present. As the sun set and the day drew to a close, I found myself lying in bed once more, reflecting on everything. I felt grateful for the small steps we were taking, for the chance to be better each day. Parenting isn't a straight path, but it's one worth walking, especially when you're doing it together. And as I drifted off to sleep, one last question lingered in my thoughts. How do we keep learning from our mistakes?